Picture the moment you signed the paperwork. The salesperson slid the sheet across the desk. You looked at the monthly payment. You ran it against your salary in your head. You decided it was manageable. You signed. That calculation took maybe 15 seconds. And in those 15 seconds, you made one of the most consequential financial decisions of the next 6 years of your life. Not because the payment was reckless, because the payment was the only number you looked at. And the payment is the least important number on that entire page. My name is Dave, and I love helping people see the full cost of decisions that look completely reasonable in the moment. Because here's what nobody tells you when you're sitting in that chair. The car payment isn't just a car payment. It's a monthly tax on every other financial goal you have. And it's going to collect that tax whether the market is up or down, whether you got a raise or didn't, whether your roof needs replacing or not. Every single month. For years, and most people have no idea what that actually costs them until it's too late to do anything about it. Let's start with a number that should genuinely disturb you. The average car payment in America right now is $737 a month for a new vehicle. The average loan term is 68 months. That's just under 6 years. Most people hear those numbers and think about the total they'll pay for the car. That's not the calculation that matters. The calculation that matters is what that $737 a month does to your wealth over the same period if it never gets invested. If you took $737 a month and put it into a basic index fund, earning the historical average of 8% annually, over 6 years you'd have just over $67,000. That's not the interesting number either. The interesting number is what happens if you keep doing that after the loan ends. Most people don't. They finish one car payment and walk straight into another one. The average American has had a car payment for essentially their entire adult life. It's just a permanent fixture of the budget, like rent, like groceries. So let's run the number that actually matters. If you carried a $737 monthly car payment continuously from age 25 to age 65, never missed one, never had a gap, and simply never invested that money instead, the opportunity cost at 8% annual returns is just under $2.6 million. Not the cost of the cars, not the interest paid, just the compounding wealth that never got built because the money was already spoken for every single month for 40 years. That is what a car payment actually costs you. Not $737, $2.6 million. Now here's where it gets structural, because the payment itself is only part of the problem. The deeper problem is what a car payment does to your financial decision-making architecture. When you have $737 locked into a mandatory monthly payment, that money is gone before you make a single choice about it. It's not discretionary. It doesn't respond to opportunities. It doesn't care that your employer just increased the 401k match. It doesn't care that a correction just made index funds significantly cheaper to buy. It just leaves. Every month, on schedule. Financial researchers call this payment rigidity. The more of your income that's locked into fixed, mandatory payments, the less flexibility you have to respond to anything. Good opportunities or bad emergencies. Think about what that means in practice. Your company announces a new Roth IRA matching program. You'd love to contribute more. You can't. The car payment already took that money. The market drops 30%. Historically, the best time to increase investment contributions. You have nothing to redirect. The car payment already took that money. Your emergency fund runs thin after an unexpected expense. You need 3 months to rebuild it. During those 3 months, your car payment keeps collecting regardless. Because the car doesn't care about your emergency fund. The payment doesn't just cost you money, it costs you optionality. The ability to move, respond, and redirect based on what's actually happening in your financial life. And optionality is worth an enormous amount that never appears on any car loan document. Let's talk about something called the wealth gap multiplier, because this is the part of the car payment story that almost nobody runs. Two people, same income, same age, same everything. One carries a car payment their entire working life. One drives paid-off used vehicles and invests the difference. By retirement, the gap between them isn't $737 a month times the number of months. The gap is the compounded version of every dollar one of them invested and the other didn't. At 8% annual returns over 40 years, a single dollar invested today becomes roughly $21. Every dollar that went to a car payment instead of an investment account didn't just fail to grow. It failed to grow 21 times over. This is the wealth gap multiplier. The true cost of a financial decision isn't what you spend. It's what you spend multiplied by what that money would have become. The car payment that felt like $737 a month was actually $15,477 a month in future wealth. Every single month, for as long as you kept it. Here's the part of this conversation that tends to make people uncomfortable. Most car payments aren't the result of recklessness. They're the result of a purchasing process specifically engineered to make the monthly payment feel like the only number that matters. Walk into any dealership and watch how the conversation is structured. They don't ask what you want to spend on a car, they ask what you want your monthly payment to be. The moment you answer that question, you've handed them control of the entire transaction. Because once you've anchored to a monthly payment, the price of the car, the interest rate, and the loan term all become levers they can adjust invisibly to hit your number while maximizing their margin. You think you're negotiating? You're actually just telling them what the ceiling is and letting them build the most expensive structure that fits underneath it. A $45,000 car at 7% over 72 months produces a payment that feels reasonable. The total interest paid is over $11,000. The total cost of the vehicle is $56,000. Neither of those numbers came up in the conversation about what you could afford each month. So, what does this actually look like as a decision framework going forward? First, the only number that matters when evaluating a vehicle purchase is the total out of pocket cost, not the monthly payment. The full price plus total interest paid over the life of the loan, that is the real cost of the car. Start there. Second, the 2410 rule exists for a reason: 20% down, loan term of 4 years maximum. Total vehicle costs, including payment, insurance, and fuel, at no more than 10% of your gross monthly income. Most car purchases in America violate at least two of those three conditions, usually all three. Third, the gap between what a new car costs and what a 3-year-old version of the same car costs is almost never justified by the difference in reliability or utility. The first 3 years of depreciation are the steepest. Buying at year 3 means someone else absorbed that loss for you. Fourth, and this one matters more than the others, every time a car payment ends, treat that money as already spent. Because it is. Just differently. The moment a payment disappears, automate the same dollar amount into an investment account before the budget has a chance to absorb it. The lifestyle doesn't notice the difference. The wealth gap does. Here's what this comes down to. The car payment felt manageable because you were looking at 1 month. The damage happens across decades, and it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't show up as a loss on your bank statement. It just quietly shapes the ceiling of what your financial life can become by removing the raw material that wealth is built from before you ever have a chance to use it. You didn't make a bad decision in that dealership. You made an incomplete one. You calculated the cost of the car. You didn't calculate the cost of the payment. Those are two very different numbers, and the second one is the one that determines whether you retire with options or retire with regret.